Hi, welcome to this Clayoo new tutorial, modeling a hand step by step. So first of all, we're going to go to the Creation tab and Blueprint. So we're going to choose the side image of one hand that we have choose, and then the top one. Okay, and we're going to validate the blueprint command. Okay, here on the viewport, it appears this box with the two images that we have set. So we're going to scale it with the right angle, and we're going to use the command go to center, okay, to place it on the 000 coordinates. Okay, so from here we're going to log this box just for modeling easier on the top of it, and then we're going to start modeling. So we're going to start with the box primitive, and we're going to place it like on the wrist, just starting the hand in here. Okay, we're going to just put the subdivisions only just for the four fingers. So here we are. Okay, and now we're going to just readjust this start of the hand. Okay, so we have active hotkeys right now. So in here we're going to just readjust the palm of the hand. So just for swapping between the two gimbals, it's just W for move and R for scale. Okay, so just readjusting points to fit on this palm. Okay, just with W for moving the points and R for scaling. Okay, so we want just to have 1 point for every finger that we have. So later we can extrude them and just have the fingers. Okay, here readjusting a little bit the wrist. Okay, now we're going to go to the right view and readjust also not only from the top view but also from the right one. Okay, so it's just selecting the points and just moving up or down to refine the basic shape. Okay, we're going to use the gusset mode just to see through our model. Okay, so if we are cool with that, just we're gonna get rid of the bottom parts of the hand. So in case that we want to just create a forearm in here or just the arm. So we're gonna start with the middle finger. So it's just selecting the face and just extruding, holding Alt and moving it, and then clicking R for scaling gimbal, and just again holding Alt and moving the gimbal for the extrusion. Okay, and just once again holding Alt and moving the gimbal. Okay, now we're going to just use the 1 to select vertex. Okay, and just refining a little bit to create our middle finger. So from this middle finger we're just gonna duplicate them, okay, to have all the others. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, it's just make sure in the Clayoo properties that subdivision is on 1 mode. Okay, and we're gonna turn off Clayoo subdivided. Yeah, make sure that it's subdivided before turning off Clayoo. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is just use that mesh. Okay, and use the command in the Creation tab, create by mesh. And what we're doing here is just subdividing the mesh that we have. Okay, it's a manual way to do it. Okay, and here we have our palm and our middle finger subdivided. Okay, and from here we can keep modeling just like we were doing before. Okay, what we're gonna do right now is just select the finger and just extract that. Okay, just to make sure that are two different parts, extract with no copy. Okay, so now we have the palm on one side and the middle finger on the other one. Okay, so we're gonna create a new layer just to put the palm in there. Okay, so just change the object to a new layer. Okay, and we can hide it. Okay, now here we have our finger. Okay, so just we're gonna refine this main finger that we're gonna later create copies to create the other ones. Okay, so we have the blueprint on the bottom part. Okay, so now just refining a little bit the shape of our finger. Okay, so it's just moving a little bit to get the favorite shape that we are looking for. Okay, remember that we are always using hotkeys 1, 2, 3, 4 to change between vertex, edges, faces, and the object selection, and WER to swap between move, rotate, and scale gamble. Okay. So we're gonna just make the different curves from the bottom part of the finger. Okay, so just make sure that it has a realistic shape. Okay, and here this is where the nail is gonna be placed on. So just we have to make sure that this is the shape that we want on the top of the finger. Okay, something like that. Okay, we're just creating the base shape of the finger. So then we have to add all the details. Okay. This is how Subdivided looks like. Okay, and what we're gonna do right now is using the command knife. Okay, it's just picking 2 points. Okay, to create a plane. So first of all, we're gonna just rescale a little bit just to make sure that this loop it's perfectly aligned. So just select this loop, select all the loops, and just refining a little bit the align of all the edges in here. Okay, so make sure that when we knife that, so we create just a line across and it creates a subdivision, it goes perfect. Okay, so just clicking 1 point and the second one. Okay, and it's gonna create this loop of edges, just crossing all the ring. Okay, so in the 2 parts of the ring that can be rotated. Okay, so we need more subdivisions because we need more detail on these parts. Okay, so here we are, and now we're gonna redefine these parts on the bottom a little bit, just moving the points a little bit upper. So this is our ring. It looks quite good right now. And now we're gonna work on the nail, for example. Okay, so just we're gonna use the 2 faces that have yeah, maybe retouch a little bit more that before working on the nail. Okay, something like that. Perfect. So we're gonna use these 2 faces in here, and we're gonna run the command inset. Okay, before we're gonna refine a little bit more that. Okay, just to make the nail look a little bit better. So now we're gonna run the command inset. Okay, and we're gonna just set the distance that we want to, something like that, and we're going to rotate that a little bit just to make that the finger is coming from the inside of the finger and going outside. Okay, something like that. It's gonna be quite realistic. Okay, for sure we can add more subdivisions in here, but we are quite okay with that. Just as this is our base for all the other fingers that we want to recreate, so we have to make sure that this is the one that we want. So just refine the first finger just the best you can, okay, to give it the look that you want. Okay, so here is our ring. It looks quite the same size than our on the blueprint, so maybe we'll have to just make it a little bit wider here from the top. So it's just readjusting all the loops that we have, so just to make a little bit more realistic. So that's up to you for sure. And now we're going to save the file just in case something happens. I recommend always to save the file with 5-10 minutes work, always saving your files. Okay, that's my recommendation. So now we're going to create another layer just to paste this finger on it. Okay, so just change this object to a layer. Okay, and now turning on the palm layer. Now we're going to work just readjusting the palm to be easy to paste the fingers on. So we're going to get rid of all the front part of the palm. Okay, so we're going to make all holes just to put our fingers on it. Okay, and we want to make sure that here we can model our thumb. So we have to just readjust a little bit this subdivision that we have in here on the center of the palm, so just to make sure that from these faces on the right side we can create our thumb from here. Okay, so we're going to select these two faces in here, and we're going to start modeling the thumb finger. Okay, so just holding Alt and moving the gumball just to create the extrusion, just moving the vertex to have the shape that we want to. So as you remember, we subdivide the object before creating the thumb. So what we have to do right now is just clicking D for divide when faces mode is selection it's active. Okay, and here we are like recreating the subdivision. Okay, for our thumb, just to be same style than our fingers. So just having this 8 edge shape in here. So we're gonna try to make it like an octagon in here, just to be sure that when subdivided it's like rounded or mostly rounded. So just refining a little bit those points to get a rounded thumb. Okay, something like this looks quite good. Just we want to make sure that the continuity with the thumbs and the palm it's smooth. So we have to work a little bit on these edges that are showing the palm and the ring. So now select the edges and again select the point, sorry, and we want to make sure that are kind of aligned between them. Okay, so from the top view they are aligned like a cross, like a crossing plane in here. Okay, just to make sure, and when we add the extrusions they share a plane between them. So just rotating a little bit, and now holding we're gonna hold Alt to create the next extrusion for our thumb. Now clicking R for just rotating, scaling a little bit, sorry, just E for rotating, and again readjusting the placement of these faces, and also holding Alt, okay, to create another extrusion. Just refining this thumb shape. Okay, at the moment we are not adding any subdivision on this thumb. Just we want to make sure that the base topology is well placed. So just we're gonna in here double click the edge. Is the same that using the loop command. So you can double click the edge to select the loop, or just clicking once and then running L, that it's the loop selection. Okay. So we're just making sure that the shape is the correct one from this side view, from this right view. Okay. Just placing the loops where we want to, where they have to be. Okay, and we're gonna prepare this thumb just for being subdivided. Okay. So first of all, we're gonna just readjust a little bit more the bottom part. So just moving a little bit the points down, just to make sure that the thumbs it's perfectly smooth with the palm on the bottom part. Okay. So I always recommend to have the best topology before trying to subdivide and add different subdivisions on anything. So make sure that this thumb is as you want to be. Okay, and then adding subdivisions and the other refining stuff. Okay. So now in edge or faces selection mode, just click on D for dividing and click on D again for dividing again. Okay, to add two subdivisions on the middle of when the finger can be rotated. Okay, and in here we're just gonna refine the shape, so making sure that these curved shapes of our fingers are in here. Just preparing again for the fingernail here on the top. Just making sure that this is the shape that we want. And later, as with the other rings, we're gonna just use the command knife just to cut and add different loops just along this thumb. So here we are. Just the shortcut for knife, it's K, the K key. Okay, so just adding some subdivisions when they have to be. So just clicking one on the second point and again. Okay, so now we're gonna just make sure that this is the shape that we want. Just refining again the different points. So the model, it's not difficult at all. It's just making sure that the subdivisions and the points are in the place that they have to be. So just to make a realistic or kind of realistic finger. Okay. Just it takes a little bit just to know where to place the subdivisions and where to move these points to make it look realistic and as you want to, but the end result is quite good. Okay, so if we are okay with that, we're gonna work right now with the nail. If we don't want to change anything else from our ring, from our thumb, sorry. So just selecting the two top faces in here. Okay, and as on the other ring, just use the command insert, just clicking I on our keyboard, and then rotating it a little bit, clicking I on our keyboard just to change the gamble mode. Oh, clicking E, sorry, on our keyboard to change the gamble. I think I said I for insert and I for rotating. Okay, it's I for insert and E for rotating, sorry. Okay, and now make sure that this is the thumb that we want. Okay, just refining a little bit more these shapes in here. Okay, saving the file just in case we won't lose anything. Okay, and maybe we have to refine a little bit more this point in here, just to make sure that it keeps continuity between the palm, the fingers, the thumbs, with everything. Okay. Okay, and at this point we just have to just turn on the finger again, okay, and prepare the other fingers to be just joined with the palm. So we're gonna just go to object selection for in our for hotkey, okay, and now just Control C, Control V, just to duplicate, just copy and pasting, and we're gonna scale it a little bit, okay, and then we're gonna rotate it and locate it more or less on the right side of the middle ring, okay. So something like that's gonna be quite okay. It matches perfectly with the blueprint that we have on the bottom. So now we're gonna do exactly the same, Control C, Control V, and then just rescaling a little bit and rotating and placing it where it has to be. Okay, and I'm always taking the middle finger just as base from copy and pasting. Okay. So here is the other ring placed perfectly. Okay, and now the little finger, same copy pasting here, Control C, Control V, rescaling a little bit. Okay, rotating also. And in here maybe we have to change a little bit the topology in here, okay, because the little finger sometimes it's a little bit more wider, so just compare with the other one. So we are scaling it a lot, so maybe we have to just move a little bit the divisions in here. Okay, we're gonna maybe make it a little bit smaller. Okay, I'm placing it in here. Perfect. Okay, you don't have to match perfectly with the blueprint, but it gives us a cool idea of the topology of the hand. Okay, so it's quite cool. Now in here we have prepared almost perfectly every subdivision with the palm and the fingers. Okay, so it almost matches. Okay, so we just have to be sure that we can join the fingers first, okay, before matching it to the palm. So it won't be so difficult to match the fingers in here. So it makes no problem. We're gonna try first to just collapsing, clicking C when hotkey is active, and just adding a face in here. I don't know if this is gonna be the best way to do that. Okay, maybe it's gonna be better if we add a subdivision on the middle. Okay, yeah, maybe I'm Control Z. Okay, so we're gonna add a new subdivision on the middle. Okay, so I'm gonna move this point a little bit. Okay, and now I'm gonna try to just like creating bridges between the two fingers in here. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure that these points are not touching each other. Okay, so are keeping a small distance on the middle. Okay. Sometimes it's cool to try things and let's see if they have the result that you thought they will had. Okay, so now we're gonna bridge that. Okay, it looks so much better. So we are avoiding triangles in here. So I recommend to use quads as much as we can. So just trying to avoid angles and triangles every time as possible. So just bridging, clicking B on our hotkey. Okay, and just validating. So maybe we'll have to add a new division between, so on the bridge, but we're going to check later if we need it or not. Okay, so now let's think how we're going to join the palm with the finger. So to try to avoid try to use as maximum number of faces as we can. So just using quads to avoid triangles, but using the minimum number of quads. So now I'm going to just match. So clicking M, just matching the points that I'm sure that are going to match each other. So I'm matching the palm with the finger because I'm sure that the finger subdivisions are better placed than the palm ones. Okay, so I'm only matching the ones that I'm sure that needs to be matched. So I'm clicking M, the first point, and then the second one. So the first point it's going to the second one. Okay, and in the options you can see that weld it's set to yes. Okay, so we are just welding these points that we are matching. Okay, so just match again. You can right click to run the command again, or just clicking M every time that we want to match. Okay, something like that. Perfect. Now we have to think how to join the part it's keeping here. Okay, that it won't be difficult to join. Okay, so we have, for example, an option that is it's dividing the bridge that we have placed. So first of all, we're going to just refine a little bit the shape, just from the little finger and the first finger, just to make sure that it keeps smoothly the finger and the palm. Okay, just making sure the topology it's perfectly smooth. Okay, and now it's time in here. If we just try to make in here like a triangle, so we can make 3 triangles in here that maybe are not the best way to solve that. Okay, because we were trying to avoid triangles and we want to create quads instead, so four-sided. So now we're going to divide. So we're going to click D and divide the bridges that we had before. Okay, and now we're going to make sure that in here we can create 2 quads. Okay, four-sided faces. Here, so with this new loop that we have created, we're going to move it a little bit, and then we're going to add face, clicking A on our keyboard. So just we make sure that we are using all quads for our model. So just clicking the 4 faces or the two faces. Okay, we're just clicking A for creating the faces in here, for adding faces. Okay, and just moving this new division that we have placed a little bit to the inner part. Okay, and now adding the faces that we want to. So also on the bottom part the same. Okay, something like that. We made it just to try to avoid triangles. For sure, with triangles the result won't be bad at all, but I recommend to avoid triangles and hexagons. Okay, if we can, just try to avoid them. Okay, now we're gonna just refine a little bit this pointing here. Okay, but we have the fingers perfectly matching the palm of our hand. Okay, so now just it's spending some time just refining the pointing here. But it looks quite good. Okay. So now it's the time that it makes us a better model or not. So it's just the time that when we have to just move a little bit the points that we have placed, just to make sure that the model is as smooth as we want to be, okay, as real matching style that we want to be. Okay, so that's the maybe the hardest moment when modeling. So just we're gonna try to readjust a little bit the continuity between the finger and the palm. Okay. So now we're gonna just click D for creating a new subdivision here on the top of the palm. Okay, something like this. Okay, and we're gonna make sure that we're just marking a little bit these bones, the bottom part of the bone that's touching with the palm. Okay, so we're gonna just make a small extrusion in here. So first of all, we're gonna insert a little bit, okay, and moving it a little bit upper, okay, to looks like the finger it's finishing in here. Okay, so we want to make sure that it's not too much. Okay, so we'll have to refine it maybe later. So just creating an insert again. It's I on our keyboard. Just moving the edges a little bit to the middle, just to make sure that it's the shape that we want, and moving it a little bit to the top. Okay, something like that. Just make sure that this small extrusion it's not too big. Okay, so we're gonna insert again. Just refine just to make sure that it's like it's more rounded. Okay. So that looks quite good. Okay, and one more time with a little finger. Okay, set the distance and refining a little bit the shape that we have in here. Okay, that's gonna give us a little bit more realistic look of our finger. So it's not just something ended up on our palm. So it's more like it's gonna look like a real finger. Okay, with his imperfection and his more defined shapes. Okay, and here's how it looks subdivided and in rendered mode, something like that. Okay, maybe we have to refine a little bit, but we are also in the level of subdivision 1, so for sure if we increase the level of subdivision here to 2 or 3, the result will be much better. But we're gonna make sure that after the finger just it gives a little bit continuity before going to the palm. Okay, so just like fading out the details of the finger, just falling off around the palm. Okay, we're just trying to make sure that the fingers don't look like are pasted to the palm. So just refining a little bit more this top part. Okay, before working with the bottom part of the finger. Okay, something like that. It's gonna look quite better. Okay, this is just spending as much time you spend, better quality or result you'll have. Okay, as this is a tutorial, we just want to make sure the topology is correct, and you guys learn the idea of how to create a hand. Okay, so for sure you can spend 1 hour in here, and you're gonna get a so much better result than the one that I had. Okay. Okay, so on the bottom part of the palm we also have some extrusions on our real fingers. So we just want to make sure that we have this imperfection in here. Okay, just want to make sure of that. So just exactly the same workflow that we've done on the top, just creating the insert with I on our keyboard. I'm just moving a little bit these palm extrusions, okay, to the bottom. Maybe are too big, but let's see when we subdivided the result that we have in here. Okay, and again another insert in here, refining the points, and then moving the two faces in here. Okay. This bottom part of the hand looks quite realistic, so it looks cool. Just the part of the palm that's touching the little finger, it's a little bit smaller, so we could also work on that. Okay, so just refining a little bit this part in here. Okay, something like that. It's looking better. And again, it's just spending time trying to get the best shape for this hand. Okay, the base topology it's already done. So from this point, it's just playing and playing with different points and edges and faces. So just to make sure that we get the result that we want. Okay, so now it's just a question of time that you're gonna get better results. So we're gonna increase the subdivision level to 3, for example. Okay, and it's gonna look so much better right now. So maybe those extrusions are too big. Okay. So we're gonna make it a little bit smaller. Okay. Gonna move it a little bit upper. So it's gonna reduce the extrusion in there. So moving edges also a little bit upper. Okay, it looks better right now for me. So maybe the nails are not too remarkable in here, so we can add a subdivision. Maybe we are going to divide, so clicking D to divide a new subdivision in here. Okay, that's one way to just make it a little bit more realistic. Okay, and the other option that we have is just creating a second inset on the nail. So just creating another one. Okay, I'm gonna validate. And those are two different ways that we have to just refining the nails. For me, the old ones looks better. I don't want just too much visible nails in here. I don't like that, so I'm gonna just get rid of that. So undoing and undoing again. Okay, but we have different ways to just improve those nails. Okay, so this is the model finished. I hope that you've learned a lot with this tutorial. Okay, so any comments, just post down below, and thanks for watching.